He was the quiet voice behind Apple's loudest revolutions, a soft-spoken designer who shaped the world more than any CEO ever could. Yet most people barely know his name. This is the story of the man who defined modern technology and then walked away from it. Jony Ive didn't look like an technological rebel. He spoke gently, sketched obsessively, and avoided the spotlight. But even as a kid in London, he was different. His friends remembered him pulling apart radios and toasters, not to fix them, but to understand why they felt the way they felt, why the edges curved, why the buttons clicked in a certain rhythm, why objects had personalities. His father, a craftsman and design educator, told him, "Good design isn't about things, it's about people." That one sentence shaped everything that came later. Before Apple found him, Jony was trapped. He worked at a small British design firm where his clean, minimalistic visions were treated like weird art projects. He pushed for simplicity. They wanted more buttons. He pushed for clarity. They wanted chrome and fake complexity. He pitched elegant ideas and watched clients ignore them every time. He later said, "I felt like I was drowning in mediocrity." But across the world, another man was drowning too. Jobs, recently kicked out of his own company, was desperate to find someone who got it. Someone who understood design not as decoration, but as destiny. The iPhone wasn't just a product, it was a philosophy. Before it, phones were bricks of buttons and complexity. Jony tore all of that away. He reduced the world to a single sheet of glass, a blank canvas for humanity. His rule was simple. What's essential? Remove everything else. While the world talked about Jobs' keynote, Jony was the one who made the miracle real. He shaped the curves, defined the materials, solved the impossible tolerances. Even the home button, that simple circle, was his idea for grounding the user emotionally. Behind closed doors, he was the calm to Steve's storm. Jobs would explode in frustration. Jony would quietly re-sketch an idea until it felt inevitable. But being the keeper of Apple's soul came with a cost. To Jony, design wasn't a job, it was oxygen. But Apple had turned into a machine that demanded more and more of it. Long nights, infinite iterations, a constant fear of disappointing the world or disappointing Steve. There's a story from inside Apple that captures Jony perfectly. A designer showed him a nearly finished model. Jony stared at it, then gently said, "It's wonderful, but I think we can make it inevitable." He pushed himself harder than anyone ever asked him to, because deep down, he believed design carried moral weight, that objects shape behavior and therefore shape society. But every legend eventually cracks. When Jobs died in 2011, something shifted. Suddenly, Jony wasn't just the design chief. He became the last guardian of Apple's identity. The world expected him to be Steve's successor, but that wasn't who he was. He wasn't a CEO. He wasn't a showman. He was a designer who found meaning in the quiet corners of creation. And as Apple grew into a trillion-dollar titan, the place changed. Meetings grew larger, risk tolerance shrank, design became corporate. The magic was fading.
By 2015, Jony was exhausted. He'd led Apple through the watch, the iPad, the new MacBook, and the company's new spaceship campus. But inside, he was burning out. He later admitted, "It was the most difficult time of my career." Some say he felt Apple had become too focused on revenue. Others say he missed the urgency and danger of the early days. Some insiders whisper that he felt alone, the last piece of the original Apple still standing. In 2019, he left. Not with a press conference, not with applause, just gone. The man who shaped the modern world stepped away from the world he helped build. When Jony Ive left Apple, analysts asked the same question. Can Apple still innovate without him? But that misses the point. Jony's greatest legacy isn't aluminum or glass or curves. It's the idea that technology should feel human, that the things we touch every day should carry emotion, not complexity, that design isn't surface, it's soul. Every smartphone today, every laptop, every interface, every tiny polished corner carries a piece of him. Even competitors follow rules he wrote. But here's the twist. Jony didn't retire. He never stopped creating. His new company, Love From, lets him design freely again, from furniture to emojis to entire cities of the future. The legend never disappeared. He just went somewhere quieter. Here's the truth. Jony Ive shaped the modern world more than almost any person alive, but he never wanted to be the hero of the story. He wanted the products to speak for themselves. And maybe that's the most legendary thing about him. He didn't chase fame. He chased clarity. He chased beauty. He chased the feeling of holding the future in your hands. And the world followed. When Jony finally joined Apple in 1992, the company was heading for disaster. Its products were bulky, confusing, and honestly, ugly. He found himself hiding in the basement design studio, working on ideas no one at Apple seemed to care about. And then, Steve Jobs came back. The moment Steve walked into that studio, he stopped. There was silence. Then he whispered, "Who did these?" Jony stepped forward. "Jobs, these aren't sketches. These are the future." From that day, they became inseparable. Two perfectionists orbiting the same obsession. Jobs had the vision, Ive gave it shape. Their first true masterpiece was the iMac, a computer that didn't look like a computer. Translucent shell, rounded edges, a handle for no practical reason other than joy. It felt friendly, it felt alive, it felt like Apple. The world didn't know Jony's name then, but his fingerprints were everywhere. From the unibody Macs, to the click-wheel iPod, to the device that changed everything, the iPhone.